Sup flappers, as you see in the title and thumbnail, Genshin is starting to ramp up in difficulty, albeit very slightly, be it the events that are coming out or the Spiral Abyss, and even bosses are starting to be designed to not be one-shottable. Many may think that it's the fault of the elitist players and whales who kept complaining about lack of challenging content, which resulted in the current patch 1.5 changes. So in this video, I will talk about game progression, whether or not the current state of the game is suited for the player base, and also why the game is ramping up in difficulty, as well as what we may be expecting going forward. Remember, this is just my opinion as somebody who makes content for the game. I look forward to hearing from all of you in the comments below as to what you all think with the current difficulty level of the game, as well as future Genshin Impact late game content, okay? So I have done many polls here on my channel, as well as paid close attention to the polls on other Genshin channels, which are much larger than mine. And it's generally the same, funnily how scaling models work in this case. Anyways, here on my channel, 70% of the people who answered out of the 17,000 who have voted have not cleared Abyss. And the knee-jerk reaction to this is, wow, that's a lot. Personally, I don't think so. And let me explain. With games such as Genshin Impact comes players of all sorts, from hardcore mathematical geniuses who writes their own code to deduce character scaling and efficiencies, to waifu collectors who uses complex scaling models to extrapolate the 3 sizes of each waifu and construct real-life perfect ratio body pillows, to your average Joe who just plays the game for the story and beautiful graphics. The Spiral Abyss is a very bad way to measure character strength and progression. While it is something that can show miHoYo how many players care for additional challenges, it does not tell miHoYo about demand for future content. So if you recall to my poll earlier, 70% of the people have not cleared Abyss 12-3. My question then continues, how many of that 70% did not clear it due to, let's say, bad ping or laggy devices and other reasons that are out of their control? And how many of the 70% are just poorly optimizing units? Because as some of you may know, I have a Beluga-chan who has a Hu Tao sitting at level 50 and running Zhongli with +0 2-piece scholar set, with her level 80 Xiao permanently sitting on the bench with his primordial jade spear. Of course, she also has KeQing, Jean, Qiqi, Albedo on top of a ton of powerful 4-stars, and she's stuck on Abyss floor 6 people. Now, I'm not saying this to throw shade, because let me tell you something. She is having a blast in Genshin hunting boars and killing pigeons to collect food items. Nothing gets her more excited than to know a new recipe is out and available. She has enough food to solve world hunger stored away in her own little bag here in Genshin. So you see what I'm getting at here, people. Purpose. Why are you playing the game? Do you play for the waifus, the story, the graphics? It could be a mixture of many as well, right? We don't play this game for one single reason. Oftentimes, it's a combination of many reasons. And to tie this all back to the current spike in difficulty, what does that really mean? Essentially, it boils down to a challenge, to resistance. For people who are currently watching, how many of you have a favorite book, movie, anime, TV series, just a story in general, anything, right? What makes things more interesting? What keeps you at the edge of your seats? Keep coming back for more. Progression, right? And the single most effective tool to give a sense of progression is overcoming a difficult situation. So in the end, resistance is necessary for progression. And currently in Genshin Impact, we are undergoing a state of progression through more difficult content, more challenges to test our units, and to give us the feeling that we are overcoming something difficult. That is a thrill, which can keep people on the edge of their seats and wanting for more. It's an essential part of any narrative-driven storytelling, and with Genshin Impact being essentially an RPG game, it's irreplaceable. Now, of course, miHoYo knows this. If some walrus on the internet knows about this, you bet some multi-billion-dollar company knows this. Which brings me to my next point, the future. With the current patch 1.5 release, we have been introduced to a power bump, but do remember, we also got the housing system and a ton of quality of life changes. So for the casual players, patch 1.5 is still a breath of fresh air. There are more things to do apart from collecting characters and hunting boars, an alternative goal to strive towards in which you do not need to rely on combat, something you can show off to others alike, which can reflect the hard work and dedication that has been put in. Now, I have mentioned this in the past, and that is MiHoYo seems to be a people pleaser. They have the ambition of building something that has something everyone can enjoy. In the past months, many have come out saying MiHoYo may end up turning Genshin Impact into something that has a bit of everything but sucks at it all. I have no problems in admitting that I echoed similar concerns, and that is in part to everyone not used to seeing a company being able to pull something like this off successfully. We are so used to half-assed features and game design which are used to milk us of every penny that we don't believe anyone can pull off a feat that MiHoYo is currently trying to do. Now, am I saying I was wrong and that I am now a full-on MiHoYo supporter and everything they do is right and anyone who says otherwise is wrong? No, of course, no I'm not. But the future of Genshin Impact can be expected to be filled with more difficult content as well as consistent updates for casual gamers. Waifus and husbandos are a given at this point, so don't even worry about that. MiHoYo is still learning about our interests and desires as they continue to make changes to the game. Look at what happened to characters after the Zhongli buffs, right? They are okay in completely changing their original design, which centered around C6 power spiking, to now C1 spiking. Faster power creeping, which introduces more upfront power as opposed to locking them behind constellations. To be honest, the current Spiral Abyss will not pose a threat at all to the people who have been wanting more difficult content, but I guarantee you there will come a time where certain content may be introduced to give whales and hardcore players the thrill they so desire. Is that a leak? No. I am simply making a prediction. Please, people, not everything that I say is pointing towards a leak or some information that is unknown to the public. I'm just speculating. I'm just saying from my perspective and seeing how MiHoYo has been listening to the player base that it is more likely they will continue to introduce more difficult content to challenge us, to challenge the portion of the player base that continues to ask for more challenges. I'm talking about the C6 whales. I'm talking about the people who min-max everything to the dot, right? Even free-to-play players. It doesn't have to be whalers. It could be people who just love working out a solution to a very challenging problem. Now, meanwhile, as long as there are casual events and constant updates for casual gameplay, this portion of the community will be satisfied. Exclusive event furnitures, limited time food recipes, character skins, all things that are likely to come. Genshin is sitting at a comfortable spot, and as long as they keep both their casual and hardcore players satisfied, the money will continue rolling in. So people, that's all I have to say about this. I could go on for hours if we want to go deeper, but I know you all have things you need to do, so let's leave it at this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and please do share what you think in the comments below, as without all of your inputs, it's hard to gauge what it is we need in the game as well as what we need to be changed. This is all the time we have for now, but I will surely see you all again tomorrow. So until then, stay safe and peace.